What's up, fight fans? Welcome to the 9th episode of Fight Nerds. Wow, we're almost to double digits. We're almost to 10 episodes. This is sure is neat. Joining me for the second time in 3 episodes, second time in 3 episodes is Andrew, the Clown Kid Lawrence. What'd it do, Andy?
It do just fine, man. It's interesting. I've done this like 2 out of the last 3 shows. That's more frequently than I do my own podcast.
Which is, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah. You can find the MMA Circus. It's on Bloody Elbow, iTunes, Stitcher, all those platforms that people get podcasts.
Right, yeah, and if you want to, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, which nobody is, but somebody might eventually. If you want to listen to this just audio version, we are everywhere that you can find podcasts. So this podcast episode is going to happen in 3 parts. Part number 1, we're going to grade each fight from UFC 212 from A to F. Part number 2, we're going to talk about some recent news in mixed martial arts. And part number 3, we're going to talk about something we've geeked out over in the past 7 days. Quickly, Clown Kid, what letter grade would you guess you're going to give this card?
Okay. Without even really looking at a card by fight by fight, I'm going to say B flat.
Ooh, okay. B flat. Give me a reason why you think it's a B, because I'm giving it a straight up C, and I can defend that. Can you defend your B?
No, because I'm kind of like a reckless grader, and I'm like your English teacher who, even if you like your work wasn't all that good, like I'll give you a better letter grade if you like say funny things during class. So I just threw a B out there. I like Jose Aldo a lot too, so that's going to throw my B. But I can understand a C being average.
Right, I like Jose Aldo a lot too, and this is stupid. I hate that there are a lot of fight fans that are this way. There are fight fans that are basically McGregor fans that don't like Aldo because McGregor beat him. I don't understand that thinking.
No, that's baffling to me. You should like him more because, and that's been a tradition of boxing where, like, if 2 fighters had a fight, even if one fighter dominated the other one, the other guy kind of got the rub. You see that in Ireland too. If a guy who like Conor McGregor beat up goes to Ireland or somehow is on a fight card that has a prominent Irish fighter, they'll be like cheering for him. There'll be a palpable buzz for that fighter. So that's always baffled me.
Yeah, and what do you think about Joe Rogan's comments saying that Jose Aldo's legacy is tarnished by that 13 seconds?
Everyone was giving him a lot of shit for it, but I can't help but think that it's kind of accurate, if I'm being really honest, because people want to say legacy is something that's deserved or something that is established throughout a career and is going to be defined by the people who truly love the sport and understand it as a whole and can like take this wider point of view where they're looking at Jose Aldo and like the near decade-long dominance he had in a weight class. But legacy is also kind of determined by like Joe Schmo on the street and like the thing that was remembered. There's been plenty of fighters who had great careers, but in their biggest moment dropped the fucking ball, and they're known for that forever. And that may be what happens to Jose Aldo. The curveball here is he's not done yet, so we'll see what his legacy is once his legacy gets to end.
He's definitely Hall of Fame worthy, right? Without a doubt, this guy's going in the Hall of Fame when he retires.
Yeah, I think that's a non-argument, right?
Yeah, because what I was thinking of is somebody who failed in the biggest spotlight, Uriah, the California Kid Faber, got destroyed by Jose Aldo, did less in the UFC, Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I mean, the UFC Hall of Fame has always kind of played that game with popularity too. But I think a guy like Jose Aldo is undeniable, inaugural champion, blah 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 blah. It's a no-brainer in that you have to respect a guy who built up an entire division in your company, even if the crowning moment of that division was him losing.
Right, yeah, tons of respect goes to Jose Aldo, but again, I'm giving the card a C straight off the bat before watching it because I'm just not excited about much below Jose Aldo versus Max Blessed Holloway. Let's jump into it. Marco Psycho Beltran versus Davison Figueiredo. What letter grade would you give this fight that starts at 6:30 Eastern time?
With that starting time, it gets a straight F.
Yeah, okay. Not starting out great. I mean, Marco Beltran. It should be known that this is his flyweight debut, so that could add a little bit of fun to it. No, I don't think so either. And also, Davison Figueiredo. one thing that's neat there is his nickname is God of War, which isn't original, but I think it's kind of fun.
Immediately changed my letter grade to a D-.
So, okay.
Based on that nickname alone. I will not be up for this fight, but if it's good, I'll definitely DVR it.
Okay, so I'm just actually writing numbers down, 1, 2, 5. I'm going to give that a... 1 is an F. I'll give it a 1.5 because this is his nickname. All right, yeah, I really don't care about that fight. Next fight, Luan Tarzan Chagas versus Judo Jim Wallhead. This is another fight that, there's a lot of fans around Jim Wallhead. He's a veteran. He's only had one fight in the UFC. But he lost the split decision to Jessen Ayari, who I think is a complete jobber. And Luan Chagas lost to the ghost of Eric Silva. I can't muster up a care about this fight. So for me, this is an F.
Yeah, to me, this is an F fight. Let's be real. At this time in the morning, you gotta factor in the time. This is going to be 7 a.m., right? I'm not waking up for that.
What? No, not a.m., dude. Did I say a.m.? 6:30 p.m.
For some reason, now you got me thinking this is some card that's happening across the world. It's happening in Brazil. It's a pay-per-view. Of course, it's happening in the middle of the evening. Jesus Christ. No, Jimmy Wallhead. Yeah, I'll be passing on Jimmy Wallhead. Give it an F.
Yeah, pass, man. Do you understand why there's so much love for Jim Wallhead?
British people get behind dudes, and he kind of has like a crazy man attitude. Maybe in his little hub of England, he's like a Nate Diazian figure.
Okay, that could be, but I don't get it. I mean, I watched film on him to try to do my study for Saturday's show, and I'm not feeling it, man. I do not care about this fight. Yeah, it gets an F. Rounding out the prelims that are on UFC Fight Pass exclusively, Viviane Sucuri Pereira versus Jamie Moyle. What do you think about that?
Women's strawweight? Come on, F. Let's go.
Yep. Straight up F. And what's crazy here is that Viviane Pereira she is 12-0 and she has a win over Valerie Letourneau, but I don't give a fuck. I mean, minimal fucks given over here.
Here's the thing. The problem with UFC Fight Pass is you do have these wild kind of roll the dice where you're just like, there's nothing there. Oh, is there nothing there? Okay, nothing there. Move on.
There used to be, they would put the main event of the Fight Pass prelims or the last fight on the Fight Pass prelims as something really cool. Remember when
jazzy?
Justin Poirier fought somebody on the Fight Pass prelims not too long ago. Yeah, what the fuck happened to that?
Yeah, they went away from that. that is clearly an old regime thinking. It's really disappointing. People are paying money for Fight Pass, which is kind of crazy. You know what? I kind of put these fights on, and honestly, I'm watching and I'm going along with it. But I'm also planning out my night. I'm figuring out what I'm going to have for dinner. Making some sandwiches, maybe. I might run off real quick and grab some beer from the corner store. I suggest people adjust your lives accordingly to the UFC Fight Pass prelims. Have them on, maybe put them on mute. Yeah,
I've got 2 monitors. I always put the Fight Pass prelims on one of my monitors. I'm usually playing like Battlefield 1 or it's a game I play. What the fuck? I play this game all the time. Rocket League. I just put one of those games on and just kind of, oh shit, knockout, put my controller down. Let's look at this again.
Yeah, and the beauty of that is if something dope happens, rewind, unmute, and then you're right in the action, right where you want it to be the whole time. Come on, guys. You should be crushing at least one video game system at all times while watching Fight Pass prelims.
Yeah, and like you said, dude, if there is a finish on Fight Pass, they're going to still wait until fucking, 8 o'clock until the next fight starts. So
you have all the time in the world. And guess what? If it takes all 15 minutes to get to that thing, it wasn't that great of a fight. Come on, let's move on. And look at this. Flyweights, strawweights, we know what happens in these divisions. No one gets finished. Come on, man.
Yeah, no one gets finished. I mean, I bet that Pereira Moyle goes to a decision. Chagas Wallhead probably goes to a decision as well. Here's a fight that doesn't go to a decision, though. Starting at 8 p.m. Eastern on FS1, we got the prelims with Yuri Marajo Alcantara versus Brian Boom Kelleher. This one, it's going to get a 2 from me. It's going to get a D, but...
Ooh.
Man.
But you're excited for a D at this point in the card.
Yeah, at this point in the card, I am excited for the D. Maybe, oh my God.
Yes.
Oh, golly.
So happy that happened. I couldn't be more tickled pink.
Yeah, that sounded awful. Well, I'm going to give it a C just because I don't want to. I'm excited for that. That could
You're
be
gonna avoid giving a D letter grade for the rest of the podcast.
No, but I'm thinking that Yuri's going to finish this fool. He's going to do it quickly. It's going to be exciting. Maybe it deserves more than a D. Man, I'm going to give it a 2.5.
I like that. This easy for me is a C plus because I happen to enjoy watching Yuri Alcantara fight people. That is, I'm a rare human being on the planet Earth, but I am interested in seeing this guy fight. He's fought forever, and I'm kind of waiting for him to fade out. I've been waiting for it for the last 2-3 years, and he's only had amazing fights since then against pretty good competition. I keep thinking back to that fight that he lost against Jimmy Rivera. That was actually a really good fight in Newark, New Jersey. It was the only fight that whole card that was actually worth a damn. That's not true, but it was a standout on the night. And then he followed it up by beating the shit out of Brad Pickett. And then Luke Sanders did what he was supposed to do. I think that's the same thing that's going to happen here. Too much experience. It'll be fun. It'll be quick. There'll be a nice submission, maybe something fancy for the Brazilian crowd. That's a dope way to start off FS1 for me.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. His last fight. Fuck, who say it again? Who was his last fight?
I think it was Luke Saunders.
I forgot about that finish. That was one of the most exciting fights of all time. That was right before Damage. Darren the Damage came back on.
That was an incredible fight card. So like, it's not shocking that it kind of got lost in a bunch of memories.
Man.
That was what landed it. It ended up going terribly because Tyron Woodley versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson closed out the show. But there was a part of that series that was just like finish after finish. Darren Elkins with his famous come from behind. Arsen Tybura knocked him out. Luis Enrique in a come from behind victory. Alistair Overeem KO'd Mark Hunt right after that. So it was easy to kind of forget. But Yuri Alcantara's knee bar in that fight was dope as shit.
Yeah, that card was fucking awesome. But it's marred because that main event was one of the worst, most boring fights in the history of time. I think that each guy landed a total of 10 strikes or some shit like that.
It was a tragedy of combat sports in that if that main event doesn't pay off, everything's forgotten before it. But an event can't be like legendary if things don't just like ascend to that point. I mean, we think about the Conor McGregor Jose Aldo fight when he knocked him out, and that fight card ascended, and there was just like so many good fights. I think right before that, wasn't that Robbie Lawler against Rory McDonald? Happened not, it was the fight right before it. So you literally just came off the fight of the year to just this crazy moment. That's how like legendary mixed martial arts events happen. So boo to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Tyron Woodley for depriving that night's joy.
I want to be correct here. I believe that the fight before Conor McGregor knocked out Jose in 13 seconds was Luke Rockhold taking the belt from Chris Weidman. That was at UFC.
Oh my God! Yes. I'm confusing Robbie with what other card?
189 was it?
Yeah. I and then Chad Mendez and all that nonsense.
Yeah. So both of those cards, man. Conor McGregor he's awesome.
Gets lucky.
With
undercard support.
Oh man, it's just he touches a card and it turns into magic. Red panty night for everybody all around.
Oh shit, you're right, because Yoel Romero snuck by Jacare Souza. That happened in the Jose Aldo Conor fight. My bad, people. Sorry, people. It's all jumbled in my brain at this point.
It's hard to remember when the UFC is throwing 52 cards a year at us. It's hard to remember.
Listen, I live in a singularity. I'm like one of those creatures from that movie with Amy Adams. I just experience time as one entity. I am MMA. I live it constantly.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but it makes a lot of sense. It does.
Good.
Okay, let's talk about another fight. Johnny Eduardo versus Matthew Lopez.
Yeah, Johnny Eduardo. He's the kickboxing coach at Novo Anyao. He knocked out that dude in like 7 seconds one time. I hope he does it here because I don't know who Matthew Lopez is. So I'll give this fight a C+.
Another C+, huh?
I'm throwing him out there.
Man, I'm giving it a D.
A D.
Yeah, because I don't know who Matthew Lopez is either. And
yeah, that's a hard one to overcome.
Maybe I'll give it a 2.5. I'll give it a D+. But yeah, it's I find it hard for me to care, and I don't know who half of the fighters are in the matchup. So, and of course, by Saturday, I will find out who he is. I'll do film study when we're done doing this podcast. But for now, I don't care about you, Matthew Lopez. Here's a couple of guys who I care about, though. Antonio Cara de Sapo, Shoeface, Carlos Jr. versus Eric Zabrina, Spicely. This one for me, I'm giving this one a B. I really am. I'm giving this fight a B. Call me crazy, but I like it.
Yeah, sure. What's there not to like? Their Shoeface, tough Brazil random dude, but he's kind of one of the good ones, you know. Out of all the nonsense that came out of all the international toughs, we found some people who are oddly entertaining. But you're still never gonna scrub off the loss to Judo Dan Kelly on your record.
As like a minus 700 favorite too. Oh my gosh.
Legendary moments of MMA. That's what I'm going to forever know you for, Shoeface. Sorry. When Judo Dan Kelly whooped your ass in the third round. Sorry. Yeah, I'll give this fight deserves a solid C+ for me.
Okay, yeah, I like this fight a lot because the same reason why a lot of people like Damian Maia. He's kind of old school and pure. This is going to be probably a grappling submission fest. I mean, Eric Spicely's been submitting fools who he should not be submitting, and Carlos Jr. has fantastic jiu-jitsu, so it should be, a fun jiu-jitsu match inside of an octagon.
Yeah, and I'm down to watch that. So that's at least C+ quality, at least for me, when we're in Brazil.
Here's a Brazilian, Rafael Assunção versus Marlon Magic Moraes. Marlon coming over from the WSOF, and here's what I think is crazy. TCK. I don't like that Assunção is plus 150. These guys coming from other organizations, we've seen a lot of Bellator guys coming over, and they're hyped to the gills, and then not doing well at all. Look, what the fuck's his name? Marcin Held? Oh, he's gonzo now. Came in with a ton of hype. Favorite every single time. He was like a 3-1 favorite in his last one. He got knocked out. Will Brooks, not doing well at all. I know it's a different organization, but in a lot of people's eyes, WSOF is below Bellator. So we're going to give a grade to the fight, but why the hell is Marlon Moraes the favorite?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I bet on this fight, and I bet Rafael Assunção. I think that he's one of these dudes who's right below the elite level. He's that good. He's like almost at TJ Dillashaw, level. That's title contender level, people. Marlon Moraes is a really fun fighter. So I think that people are confusing action with skills a little bit here. I think that Rafael just is going to run with this one. But Moraes is dangerous. He's a dangerous dude. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's all these people coming in from other organizations. You're kind of seeing the level. And especially when you're talking about, are the talent pools below 155 pounds, the UFCs are just so deep. Those are not divisions that make a lot of money. So smaller promotions can't afford to keep around a lot of that talent, whereas the UFC can just buy it up in droves. So, there's some deep-ass waters at 135. And I think Marlon Moraes, which, by the way, his nickname's Magic. That's a thing?
Evidently, that's what the UFC.com says.
Damn. All right. But I don't like it yet, but maybe it'll grow on me. I like alliteration usually in nicknames, so it'll probably stick. But Rafael Assunção, I think this is probably the best bet on the whole fight card.
I agree, man. I don't do a lot of gambling, but I too, when I was looking up the odds, I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah, I had to put a sprinkle on that for sure. Should be a fun fight though. Number 3, and Rafael Assunção, you're saying that he's in title contention. Didn't he beat TJ Dillashaw once, and then he fought him in a really tight fight in the rematch?
Yeah. That was a very controversial decision in that first fight. I'll say that. I'm a TJ Dillashaw mark though, so I'll also say that.
But either way, I mean, controversial or not, he went the distance with the guy who was the champion.
Coming off of like a 2-year layoff, too. Let's not mince words. That's a tough out. To beat TJ Dillashaw after being out, I think for not 2 years. I think it was like a year and maybe 2-3 months.
Well, he lost the decision when he came back from a 2-year layoff, but he beat him not off a layoff, I don't think. But yeah, I'm picking Rafael Assunção, and I'm going to give the fight. Ooh, man, if I gave it, I'm not I'm weirdly not as excited for this as I am for Carlos Jr. versus Eric Spicely, but I am going to give it a C+.
Oh, I need to give it a letter grade. I'll just give it I'll give it a C plus too. The whole undercard around Fox Sports is C plus worthy, people.
Yeah. Now, here's a fight that's on the pay-per-view portion starting at 10 p.m. Eastern. Eric Silva versus Yancy Medeiros. Yeah, I said it. On the pay-per-view portion, Eric Silva versus Yancy Medeiros. Why?
I feel like Yancy Medeiros sneaks into pay-per-view main cards a lot. I'm going to try to find and see if I can see how many times it's been on a pay-per-view main card. But this fight is a D because this fight is not particularly good. But for some reason, I know who Yancy Medeiros is and I know who Eric Silva is. They both had potential at some point, maybe. And sometimes I like watching two people whose lives are going off the rails, see who can recover and stabilize themselves at least for another 6 months. So D.
I think this is Yancy's second time on a UFC pay-per-view. And the first time...
The other one was Dillashaw Soto, the infamous Dillashaw Soto card.
Yeah, that fight card only had 8 fights?
Yeah, there was like a slew of injuries at the end of it. They lost their main card, or their real main events. Henan Barral, remember, slips in the tub and all that nonsense.
Well, okay, so that's weird that Eric Spicely is on a pay-per-view, but regardless of whether I think they deserve to be on the pay-per-view, it should be a super fun fight.
You think Eric Silva versus Yancy Medeiros is going to be a super fun fight?
Yeah, man, because Eric Silva is going to come out and he's going to throw some heat for about 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so is Yancy, man. So 5 minutes of this fight.
Yancy does have that throwdown in him. You know, he's got a little bit of Hawaii Stockton in him, you know. So maybe it'll be fun. I don't know. I think both have a lot on the line. So we're going to see some tentative-ass shit. I give this card a D. I think that Eric Silva wins the underdog. He is more talented than Yancy. He's just chinny, I think, at this point. And he doesn't get to use steroids anymore.
Right, yeah, the steroids thing is, I think, a big factor here.
I have no filter or subtlety with it. I'm always just like, and now we can't use steroids. Damn it.
If this fight were happening on the prelims, would you give it any higher of a grade?
No. Yes. You're right. You called me out. I would not have given it a D if it was on the prelims. It's easy C territory. Maybe D plus, but probably C if it was on the prelims. For some reason, when I'm paying money, I get pissed.
I know, man. $60. A lot of people just pay the $60 for the main event, but I pay $60 for 5 to 6 fights, and I'm paying for it. So what's 60 divided by 5?
Whatever that math is. It's like $12. So I'm buying for $60 the main event, right? But I also, everyone's buying the whole thing. Come on, you're offering me 5 fights for this price. You're not offering me 2 fights and putting a bunch of stuff on Fox. Like, you know what I come for, UFC. I'm not playing fucking kids games. You know, I'm paying $60. Don't put Eric Silva in this nonsense part. Wasn't Anderson Silva supposed to be on this card? Wasn't I supposed to watch some Spider? God damn it. Get it together, new UFC. We're going to Rio de Janeiro, and what do I got? Cheetor. We got Cheetor and Aldor. That's enough. They're trying to pump Gadelha as if she's a Brazilian star. That ain't a real thing.
No, it is not. But she's good to look at, though.
Oh, we can discuss maybe the cutest co-main event of all time on this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I am in full agreement. And did you see them giggling at the face-off today?
Oh, no, I did not. That might be a 1 million view video, though.
They were super serious for like a long time, and then all of a sudden they just started giggling, and it was adorable.
The adorableness of the, it's like, they're like female athletes, so they tend to be attractive. They take care, or female athletes in general tend to be attractive. They take care of themselves. Like, they usually have like athletic fit bodies. So like as a large swath of them, they tend to be attractive people. But very few fighters are like adorable looking, like even inside the cage. And like Karolina Kowalkiewicz is exactly that. Like even when you see her, you're like, oh my God, she's gonna do violent things. That's gonna be precious.
When she puts her hands behind her back and just kind of leans on the cage before the action starts, it's adorable. But why does she do that?
It's like a 5-year-old girl waiting at a bus stop.
Yeah.
You're just like,
On
Just
top of
biding your time.
you mentioned female athletes that are often attractive because of the fit, but man, a lot of female athletes are huge. We're talking about 115 pounders here. That adds a little bit to it.
I imagine that does. I don't know.
By subtraction.
Back in college, I dated some girls on the field hockey team.
Were they big?
Well, they played field hockey, so they definitely had the stout lower bodies.
Oh,
there's attractive nature in a nice Amazonian woman. Don't judge.
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, I like it too, but I was just like,
don't knock it till you try it over there, Brian.
All right. Well,
jeez.
Okay, speaking of big people, we've got some 185 pounders. Paulo Borrachina versus Olawale, the Holy War Angel, Bang Bros.
Oh man, the Holy War Angel used to be my dude.
Right up until he decided he had one weapon and about 4 seconds of gas.
No, that was my favorite part of his fighting. I don't love The Perfect Fighter. I mean, I do love The Perfect Fighter. I'm a huge John Jones fan, but I'm not watching the fighters who got it all together. I like the crazy ass dude who's got one thing going for him. He's shooting with all his might on it. Nobody lost to Cesar Ferreira, which to me is just super unforgivable.
Yeah, I mean, he gassed himself out throwing 4 crazy strikes, and he's like, well, I didn't knock him out, so I give up.
The only dude who never knocked out Cesar Ferreira. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh, the guy has a worse chin than who has a really bad chin? Than peak bad chin Alistair Overeem.
Oh wow. I was gonna say that Stefan Struve, but I don't know. Stefan Struve took some beatings in his day. All I can remember is him taking an ass whipping from Mark Hunt, now that I mention it. This Brazilian dude though is supposed to knock people the fuck out, so that'll be fun. I think that this fight deserves definitely a B+. If not higher, due to the fact that we might see the Holy War Angel get sent to heaven.
Oh gosh, good one. That was good. But no, but Borrachina, I saw that Jonathan Snowden earlier today said if you know who he is, you're just, what did he say? A degenerate gambler. No, man, this isn't his UFC debut. He made his UFC debut against Gareth McClellan with a 1:17 knockout, and Gareth McClellan is super durable. So, just a fight fan knows.
And super terrible at MMA.
All right, I was just trying to.
I wanted to scale back the reality a little bit. I just wanted to scale back the reality a little bit.
But either way, he's
South Africa's best fighter. Terrible at MMA. South Africans can't fight MMA.
Right. But so we're probably going to see a first round knockout no matter who wins. Let me look at the odds. Have you seen the odds on this?
No, I have no clue, but I'm going to imagine that that McClellan's got a number next to him that's plus 225.
You mean Bang Bros?
Yeah, Bang Bros.
You almost nailed it, man. Plus 235, and Borrachina's minus 275.
Whew. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, quickly, I want to look at fight doesn't go the distance.
Doesn't go the distance.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
under 1.5 rounds is minus 250.
Okay, yeah. People have been hitting that all day. This would be the fight that goes the distance. Bet the other side of this, people. Get crazy. Trust me. Once the stalemate, they both gas in the first 10 seconds of this fight, and you know it. You know that feeling when two fighters just grab each other and you go, oh, we're going to see a decision.
I hate that. Yeah, I hate that feeling.
Wait for it to come at about the 2-minute mark in this fight.
Plus 475 on fight goes to decision.
Damn. That's worth the swing. Put 1/10 of a unit on that and you get 1/2 unit.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be worth it. But anyway, because of those odds, I'm just looking at the odds alone. Yeah, I agree with you. Given this fight at 4.5, we're going to see a first-round knockout. I think Borrachina does it. If anything, just pick Borrachina straight rather than doesn't go the distance.
There you go.
I mean, doesn't go the distance is minus 735. Just pick Borrachina at minus 275, right?
Then you're coasting. I mean, who knows, though? He's fought no one. He's fought no one. The Bang Bros has at least fought dudes.
Yeah, he has fought no one. But man, this is in his home country. He might be a little bit juiced. I mean, he looks like a Guy that likes some supplements.
I love the rampant speculation of Brazilian supplement taking because it's kind of true.
Yeah, it's kind of true. Speaking of Brazilian supplement taking, Vitor the Phenom Belfort versus Nate the Great Marquardt. Andrew, what do you think of Vitor saying this is his swan song? He wanted it to be in his home country. He was going right off in the sunset. Then all of a sudden he's talking about going to Bellator or Rizin or whatever. Now he's saying that he might want a contract extension with the UFC.
I think that we're dealing with a late career MMA star right now. That you'd think we're dealing with someone who's fought in MMA for like a decade or something like that. Maybe their brain isn't 100% functioning at the highest level that it could be.
Quite literally 2 decades.
Crazy. Yeah, like right. That's not an exaggeration. What was Vitor's debut in the UFC? Was it 12 or something like that? No, probably earlier.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, but anyway, it's obscene. And if you want to talk about, everyone wants to talk about TRT Belfort. That's not even Vitor Belfort at his most steroid and most jacked up. Look at him in his first fights in the UFC, and that person is a completely different human being. You want to wonder why his body can't produce natural testosterone. Take a look at those pictures from 20 goddamn years ago where he looks like a cybernetic freak. It's great. I hope we get to see. I don't want to see him in Bellator. I think Bellator's too restrictive. I want to see him move to Rizin.
Me too, man. I want to see him in Rizin. He did make his UFC debut at UFC 12 back in February of 1997. So quite literally 20 years ago.
Yes.
That's fucking crazy.
That's awesome. Let's have him fight Crow Cop.
Oh my gosh. No. Because even roided Vitor could still make $185. And
so here's the deal. Let him get a warm-up fight so that he has enough time to do all the steroids he needs to be at Crow Cop size.
Man, I don't know if his frame is made for it, especially where he had to have this time off from TRT.
You're thinking like weight classes and all this stuff. That doesn't apply in the land of the rising sun.
All right. Did you know that this fight is happening at 205, not 185?
Holy shit, really? I'm glad that that's happening. Yeah, don't make these guys cut. Like, for what greater purpose? That hot title contention at 185, Nate Marquardt could really jump in there and shake up the division. Dude who got lost to Sam Alvey, knocked out by Thiago Santos, knocked out by Kevin Gastelum, knocked out by Hector Lombard.
Got my butt here because on Wikipedia it still says middleweight. I'm certain that I heard that it was at 205. I'm gonna have to check.
If it's at website. Middleweight, that's a criminal action by the UFC. They should lose their right to promote fights if they're making these old-ass dudes cut weight for no fucking reason.
Yeah, man. And I thought for sure I heard it was at 205, and I was more excited because it was at 205. So these guys aren't fighting the scale as much as they are fighting each other.
Yeah, aren't they big dudes and shit? Vitor's humongous. Even though he is like body-drained Vitor. Come on, man. Nate the Great Marquardt's a tall-ass dude. Look it up. Is Nate the Great Marquardt taller than 6 feet tall? Because if you're taller than 6 feet, you shouldn't have a 1 in front of your weight.
Actually, both these guys are 6 foot even.
Okay, yeah, so don't make these guys cut. Come on, man. One dude's 40, for Christ's sake. Come on, man.
Yeah. So how excited are you for this fight?
I don't know. Like, I usually love seeing the old-timers get it on. I love that this time it's not Vitor Belfort against, like, a young stud or something stupid like that.
I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah, let's watch 2 old-ass fighters who shouldn't be fighting fight each other. That's the kind of stakes we're ready for here. This is the kind of matchups we need for the fading old timers. I like Nate Marquardt, so I'll give this fight a B-. Too much Vitor recently. B-.
Okay, so we're gonna give that a. I'm really making no distinction between a C+ and a B-.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give it.
I'll give it a B then.
Okay, I'm giving it a B as well. Because I do like the names here. I think we'll see a fun fight. And a little bit, I think that we see TRT Vitor here.
Yes. I hope he just says, fuck it, gets right on the juice. I'm 100% with you here.
Why not? Because if this is his last fight on his UFC contract, he could pee hot, be banned from the UFC, get a suspension, and still go fight for Rizin, right?
And it lets the other promotions know that you're taking your career seriously.
Yeah, like they give a shit. They just tell him Vitor Belfort was the sign. They're like, do it, let's do it. It's Vitor Belfort.
I mean, as soon as you get Vitor Belfort, right, you instantly sell out some sort of stadium, right? So that's got to bring in like a couple $1,000,000. So you can afford to pay him a couple million, and you can make a couple million, and you can put on a show.
Yeah,
That's just simple math in my head. I just did that off the top of my head. That's how you be a fight promoter.
And Nate Marquardt, his chin is pretty depleted, and Vitor still has one flurry in him. We saw it against Kelvin Gastelum.
He has one very great short flurry in him every single time. You're absolutely right. So Nate better watch the fuck out. He might get murked.
I think Vitor is going to win. Let's look at the odds. I think
Vitor.
Minus 160 on Vitor.
160? That's a criminal price. Do not buy that.
No, but if Vitor was plus money, I would do it.
Oh, 100%. I'm with you.
Because I do think that he's juicing, and why the fuck not?
I love that. He's up at TriStar. He's got that Canadian juice.
Oh, yeah. I forgot he went to TriStar, so that's even...
Jim jumps more than any motherfucker. He's been in like 8 camps his whole career.
That's kind of crazy. All right, let's talk about the next fight. Claudia Gadelha versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. We said it's the most adorable matchup in UFC co-main event history, but how excited are you for the fight itself?
For the fight itself, let's be honest about it. It's going to go to decision. Karolina does throw great punches, and Claudia throws with power, but I think that Claudia's going to grind fest this one, so I can't look forward to it too much. I'm going to give this one the solid, I'm going to give this one a C+.
Did we give the last one a B, you said?
Yeah, I moved it to a B.
Sorry, I wrote the wrong number. And
no, it's because I changed my grades fluidly.
And then Olawale versus Borrachina, we gave a C+, I think, right?
I'm sorry. For what fight? Bangbos and Budicina? Yeah. Oh, no, someone's getting knocked the fuck out, so I gave that a good grade, B+.
Okay, yeah. Right, okay, yeah, we did. All right, yeah, 4.5's there. Shoot, I'm a little confused. Okay.
Never doubt yourself, Brian. You got this.
Yeah. I think that Karolina is going to win this fight. I think that Claudia is going to win the first 2 rounds via grind. But then Karolina, she's just like Joanna. She gets better and better as each round goes on. She throws more volume, and Claudia is known to gas. I'm excited for the matchup, but like you said, it's going to a decision. And if Claudia does win via grind, that's going to suck a whole lot, and that has a big potential. I'm gonna go C+. What did you say?
C+.
Oh, you son of a bitch. All right.
Yeah, it's the grind. It's the grind avoid. You were grading for the grind.
It kind of sucks that Claudia's this grinder. She's really good with takedowns. She's good with top control, but she came in with hype about submissions. Where are those?
Well, I think they're just harder and harder to get once you fight good fighters, man. It's like, it's all these women divisions are just kind of a few years behind. So we're seeing people who can just like sprawl and brawl now. That seems like Claudia Gadelha's tactics out there. I mean, it's a little bit more involved than that. I'm really oversimplifying, but like that seems to be what's happening. She can strike, but I think that she's smart enough to realize she can't probably strike with Karolina, so that's why she's going to rely on that wrestle game or look for it. I hope not. Maybe they just end up going to war and it's awesome. But I in my heart of hearts, I don't believe it. C+.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt there's a finish. Guess how many finishes each person has in the last 3 years?
In the last 3 years, I'm going to guess that they have combined 3.
0. That's not good.
Well, there you go, guys.
Oh my gosh, 0.
Maybe it'll be an action 3 rounds. An action 3 rounds.
Yeah, but still, I mean, when there's almost no chance of a finish, that takes away a little bit of the hype.
Nate Marquardt's whole face is going to explode from a Vitor Belfort high kick, and then we're going to watch Claudia Gadelha kind of wrestle fuck Karolina Kowalkiewicz's cute ass around for 3 rounds, and we're going to get a little yawny.
Yeah, but then the main event, Jose Scarface Jr. Aldo versus Max Blessed Holloway. This is an A.
A+, yeah, whatever the highest grade we can give, 5.
Yeah, man. Quickly, who do you think's going to win?
I keep saying that I want Max Holloway to win, and I've been picking Max Holloway to win, but everything in like me breaking down what should happen in the fights dictates that Jose Aldo's going to win. So I'm picking Max Holloway. I'm figuring that Jose Aldo wins it though.
Yeah, I did a video already, but I'm picking Jose via decision. Jose doesn't get a lot of finishes. He starts really strong. Max doesn't start strong. It all comes down to the third round, in my opinion. And we're in Brazil. So
yep, it's going to be a tough one, especially when he wins them early. Because when you win in the first 2 rounds, it's easier to look like you're just still winning the rounds. The tide may have turned, but it's hard to change that perception. Brazil bias is kind of a real thing too. Max going to need to knock Jose Aldo the fuck out, and like, do you see that happening? Really? I mean, I know Conor did it, but that's Conor.
I mean, that's a special beast. I know Max, he does have these punches and bunches, throws a lot of good combinations, but he does finish. He's a finisher a little bit, but man, Jose is durable as fuck when it's not Conor McGregor. One thing I forgot to say in my breakdown is if Jose isn't over aggressive and over emotional, you can't finish him. Conor won before the fight started.
He has great defensive boxing. Like that's like his like hallmark. Well, great defensive kickboxing. He's a brilliant defender. I just don't think you're gonna like a dude who does like volume strikes like Max Holloway's that's gonna be successful enough to matter. I think that when Jose lands, he's gonna smart. But maybe Max just like kind of outpoints him. Does what Cody Garbrandt did to Dominic Cruz, something along those lines. Maybe with less footwork and less panache, but with the constant volume, just being a step quicker. But being a step quicker than Jose Aldo, like outthinking Jose Aldo, those are like tall fucking tasks, man. But I'm super excited to see if he can do it. You don't just like dismiss a dude like Max Holloway, who lost to Conor McGregor and came back and beat so many people in the division at such a high level in such a short period of time. Kid's 24 years of age. He could be 10 times better of a fighter than we saw him last time, and we wouldn't know. So yeah, I'm amped for it, but and as much as I clearly want, Max Holloway, I want that baton passed. I want the new fucking generation to take over. Jose Aldo, man, he's Jose Aldo. He's a legend for a reason. And I just think he ultimately gets it. But I'm super excited to see it, both from the legend standpoint and the young up and comer. It's a great fight.
Yeah, man. Even if Max loses to Jose on Saturday, Max still has a long career ahead of him. What is he, 26 years old? I mean, come on.
Yeah, something like that. It's extremely young. The best thing he could do is he could take a year off after a title loss and just retool up, and make another run. How many people could start their careers or their like main runs in the UFC at like age 27? And he'd be a much better fighter, perhaps.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have to do a 10-fight winning streak to get the title shot again. He could beat 2 people and be back to the title shot. Similar to, I mean, I know that 205 is a lot more shallow than 145, but look at what Gus does. Gus beats Jan Blachowicz and then back in the title picture. Like fucking.
Think about this. Like Max Holloway beat up Cub Swanson, who now everyone's like, oh, Cub Swanson's a goddamn murderer. He handled him, choked him unconscious in the last round after winning every round of the fight. He beat Charles Oliveira, people who are like, the deadliest, nope, worked it. Don't worry about that. Oh, no, that was the weird, freaky one where he was just like, my throat broke. And then they were like, no, your throat's fine. The fight's over.
Yeah, he said he had a torn esophagus, but the doctor was like, bro, you're okay.
I love that. Like, you self-diagnose a torn esophagus. That's such a strong, like, self-diagnosis.
Yeah, I tore my esophagus. How would you know that?
I have a hurt throat. He's like, no, I specifically tore my esophagus.
No, it wasn't the cage side doctor that told him he was full of shit. I mean, it was a real doctor at a clinic or something.
No, I imagine so. But like, yeah, how you gonna walk into that dude's office and be like, I think I tore my esophagus? And he's like, no, bro, you didn't. I deal with esophaguses every day. Shut your stupid mouth.
All right, so I tallied up our numbers and I averaged them. What do you think that you ended up giving it? Do you think you stuck with a B?
Nah, I threw out all those C pluses. It's got to be a C plus.
You're at a straight C, just right at that C, and I went with a C minus. So
Ooh.
It's not great.
It's all those Fs at the beginning, the prelims.
Yep. You want me to just average the pay-per-view portion?
Yeah, you should. You should be like a professor would weight it. Like the final, the main events, like your final, the all of the main cards, like your midterm. This is just like homework and shit. In attendance
Okay.
is the Fight Pass prelims. You should be eating a sandwich during the prelims. You should be, playing Mario Kart. You should be
The main card got a B minus.
okay.
Yeah, I mean that's all right.
A
Main
B
card
minus
B
to me
minus.
is worth $40. Start tiering your pricing, UFC. Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't understand. Well, I know why they stick with the same price, but when a bunch of people fall off the card and they have to put Eric Silva versus Yancy Medeiros on the pay-per-view, they should be like, all right, guys, $50 instead of 60.
Or just slide a coupon out there into space, man. A lot of people won't end up using it, and the hardcores will, really appreciate it.
Great fucking idea. Let's get on the horn, call them up. Give us a coupon. Yeah, give me 10%
Give me a $10
off.
off coupon, motherfucker, and I will be so grateful, and you'll get so much more brand loyalty than you will, and you'll probably have more people not fucking stream it because they're like, hey, I got the $10 coupon, let's get it in HD.
Right. This is brilliant. I don't know why WME IMG, I think, is just really shit in the bed with the management of the UFC.
Can you imagine me walking in with the pitch and they're like, okay, so what? Like, I got the whole board of WMEIG, and they're like, what is your brilliant idea? And I'm like, coupons. That's how we save this company. You want to bring back the UFC, bring back the hardcores, $10 coupons.
A free month of Fight Pass or something.
They were giving up free months of Fight Pass. I think you had to fill out a survey. Come on, get it together. There was a free month of Fight Pass.
Do you remember UFC rewards?
Yeah, I turned in all of mine at the end and got like 8 free months of Fight Pass.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I got a year of Fight Pass and 1 free pay-per-view.
There you go. That's a smart consumer right there, boys and girls.
Well, fucking my buddy, All That MMA, Wes Riddle, he would do everything that it took to get points every single day. So you had to watch a video on UFC.com. You had to tweet to UFC. You had to read an article. You had to log into your rewards account. Like all of this shit, he would do it all every single day.
Whoa.
Yeah, he had it calculated out. He's like, okay, by the end of the year, I'm going to have enough to get like free floor seats at an event. And then all of a sudden, they
killed. They killed the program. Well, He messed up. Did he turn him in and get at least free Fight Pass?
Yeah, he got free pay-per-view and shit. But like, brilliant thing for him.
I want those floor seats. He should have spent it all on a cardboard cutout of Ronda Rousey.
Fuck, pass on that. And those plaques that you could put your tickets to the event in that were like a jillion points. Like, no man, I could buy one for $10 at the trophy store and put some stickers in it.
Come on, the only good value on there was free Fight Pass,
or tickets to an event.
Reviews. Yeah, tickets for an event. They have to be good tickets for an event too. You get some shitty events on StubHub the day of. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
So that does it for the grading the card portion. Now let's talk about some news. I need some transition music, Andrew. News. So I don't think that we have any.
That was brilliant.
I like it. There's not really much to talk about, man. The only thing that MMA media has been just beating into the fucking ground in the past 24 hours was John Jones talking shit to Gustafsson and then Gustafsson replying. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was the thing prize fighters do on Twitter. That was cool.
And what I'm a part of MMA media, so are you. What I don't understand is why like all of these sites, even ESPN.com, like wrote 3 articles about John Jones tweeting to Alexander Gustafsson. The state of journalism is really shit right now.
I don't know, man. It's weird. It's just a transition onto this crazy interwebs thing. So there ends up being a lot of lemon culture. I don't know too. Maybe it's part of the content users of MMA, like the people who read MMA blogs. Like they'll go to all the different sites, even though they're reading the same thing over and over and over, and act like they're getting new information. So I don't know. I don't have a way to fix the MMA media problem. It's a real conundrum though, and weird days like this, it kind of highlights like kind of the monotony of and kind of stupidity of it all. But that's why there's beautiful things like stupid Twitter squabbles between MMA journalists, or some touts doxing each other that usually keep us busy and entertained when everything seems a little bit dull. But I do like the idea of Gusty and Jones barking at each other. It's kind of it livens up the fight a little bit, right? The fight that's not happening right now.
Yeah, well, it needs to happen no matter what happens with DC Jones. Well, quickly, I want to say on the MMA Roadshow with John Morgan, he will give out not exactly stats, but he'll say, okay, so there's a lot of hardcore fight fans that are complaining about this article. Well, guess what? It was our most clicked thing last month. So it's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, dude, as someone who puts up articles on a website, I'm always baffled by kind of what wins out, like the click war. And it's kind of hard not to put out content that people actually want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You have to be getting clicks is much like getting likes or getting hearts on Instagram, anything. It releases a little bit of dopamine and you feel like, yeah, I did something good. Yeah. Feed me that positive feedback, fuckers. Click that shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I just always try to operate on kind of like 1 for you, 1 for me method, or 2 for you, 1 for me method, or something like that, depending on the amount of level that I want, or the amount of effort I want to put into the articles that are for me. Because if I'm going to do some shit that I know isn't going to do well, I'll always be like, all right, and then feed people some funny videos. And you know what I do now is I kind of make a compromise, because I usually like to put out some stuff that I would have liked to see, like if I didn't put it out, like something that would have at least I would have probably clicked on, even if I'd been like, why am I clicking on this stupid ass shit? That way I make it morally justifiable.
Here's a little piece of news. Alpha Cat Zingano says that she's going to fight Cyborg, but not at UFC 214. I don't know why Dana White said that Cyborg is going to fight at UFC 214. I don't know why you would come out. And this is crazy because Cat Zingano follows me on Twitter all of a sudden. And, sometimes you follow a fighter, maybe they'll follow you back. No, she followed me out of the blue. I didn't.
Oh, you're an influencer now, man. You're in the culture, baby.
Yeah, Cyborg followed me today, and I hadn't been following her.
Cyborg followed me too, so don't hold it that close.
Do you think that her social media manager is doing the thing where you get the follows and then unfollow?
Probably, maybe.
Because I know a lot of lower tier fighters will do that. Rick Story does it or used to do it. Andre Sukumta did it.
It's like you're holding these vendettas against these fighters for Twitter faux pas.
Well, it's like, I'll follow you. You're a fighter. You're actually somebody who I kind of want to hear from. I'll follow you. Don't do that shit where you follow me to unfollow me. Yeah. And if you don't want to see what I have to say, just make lists or mute me, you dumbass.
Come on, get real about it. Get on that mute tip, people.
Their social media managers need some teaching, need some learning.
What we need to do is just create a class where we're like, let me teach you some Twitter etiquette, motherfuckers. Sit down, Milky Cowa.
Yeah, we're going to turn into like the MMA version of Ty Lopez.
That sounds terrible, but also awesome because we probably will make money.
Because that's all that motherfucker does is he's a social media manager. And
I was looking at your Instagram, and let me tell you, you need to increase your hashtags by 23%. Get on that shit.
Always max out hashtags whenever you post. If you want clicks, always max that shit out.
You know what, man? I'm going with reverse culture now. Like, if I'm going to start an Instagram account, I'm never going to hashtag anything. Just so I can
never get a single follower or a single click.
No one will ever love me.
Well, I mean, unless you're posting like some actual cool shit, right?
Yeah, it takes a lot. You can't buck the system, man.
No. And I saw something. I read an article once about how it's horrible that is turning. That's what Instagram is. It's just tons of hashtags driving. Because then all of the influencers, they're getting more and more followers, and then all of the shitty people are getting less and less viable. Yeah, and people are selling their Instagrams,
which is stupid as shit. Yeah, I've done without Instagram. I'm no longer on there.
I like it. I love taking pictures of nature, and my best friend's wife thinks that my nature isn't nature enough, but I'm like, fuck it, I like it.
What? How are you going to throw shade at people's photos of the outdoors?
Well, she says that she wants to see pictures of my girlfriend and me, not a picture of a random tree. I'm like, that tree was beautiful. All right.
You should also tell her like you could just like follow my girlfriend's Instagram. She's probably posting photos of herself and shit. Come on.
Man, my
It's not
girlfriend
my
doesn't.
job to provide you the photos you would like. That's not how Instagram works.
Right. My girlfriend actually hardly uses social media. I mean, she loves lurking. She doesn't like post.
She's a lurker.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone can follow my fiance on Twitter. I guarantee you, she will never tweet again. I in fact hacked her Twitter a little bit ago. I think I just changed her photo to like a sushi roll or something.
Oh, nice one. Instead of an egg, so it's a.
Yeah, I was like,
Give them an egg roll.
This is yeah. All right.
Yeah, so not a lot going on in the news lately. There was that beef there. Talked about the media.
Hey, the greatest sumo wrestler of all time won his 38th sumo tournament this past weekend in Japan. His name's Hakuho. He's literally the most winningest Yokozuna of all time in the recorded history of sumo wrestling.
Quick, Andrew, how do you watch this shit? Do you watch it live? Do you watch replays? What's going on?
Replay on YouTube.
Okay, you're gonna need to link me up with this because I like watching it too. But I was trying to find Twitter accounts that were dedicated to it, but I found one.
Stop. YouTube channel. It's Jason's All Sumo channel. You just follow him. When it happens, he has a playlist for the entire tournament, and it's day by day. It's only the important shit you can pick up anywhere you want. He's great at explaining it. Brings you into the world. If you're like a super fan, he's got that lingo. But if you're still brand new, he's still like, hey, yeah, no, this is accessible. Like, come in here. This guy's going to just shove this guy out of the ring, and that means this and this and this, and on to our next video. And yeah, he does a great job. That's the only way to watch sumo.
Quickly, I have to give a shout out to Ryan J. He just joined us, and there are 4 people watching right now, so I really appreciate those guys. As soon as I can log out of MMA Mania's YouTube channel, then I'm going to subscribe with one of my many own YouTube channels to Jason's All Sumo. But basically, Andrew, that's bringing us into our geeked out outside of MMA for the last 7 days. You still geeking out about sumo?
I'm still geeking out about sumo. Last time we talked 2 weeks ago or whatever, I was just getting into sumo. It's only gotten deeper. So like I ebb and flow with my obsessions, but like this one seems to we haven't found the crest of this one yet. So we're still deep in our geek out. But sumo's over. You know, it goes away after 15 days of sumo. There's only 5 sumo tournaments a year. They're 15 days each. So we wait for the next one, which happens in like 2 months or so. And until then, you know, I'll catch up with the news probably about it in a month or so, just to make sure none of the guys are injured or anything. And yeah, so other than that, I've been reading comic books like like the comic book nerd that I am. I've been reading The Astonishing X-Men, but from 2008. It's the run of comic books that was written by Joss Whedon, who's famous for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, famous for directing the Avengers movie and the sequels and all that shit. And I would say if you were a kid who kind of grew up, you know, in the 90s, early 90s, Saturday morning cartoons, watched the X-Men, you know, maybe on Fox. This is an awesome comic book to series to read if you've never gotten into it. Definitely check out The Astonishing X-Men. The run starts in 2008, and you can pick it up from that issue 1 in 2008. And if you don't really know much about the X-Men, you could probably pick it up from there too, because while they don't go into like this deep origin story, it is like the beginning of a story, and you don't really need too much knowledge of what happens before then. Or you can pick it up as you go along. Fantastic comic book.
Where do you find comic books nowadays? Do you have a comic book store?
Come on, dude. It's the internet, man.
Yeah, so there's like an actual physical place.
Everything can be streamed for free on the internet, or you can actually do the upright moral thing. And just like there's UFC Fight Pass, there's Marvel Unlimited. It's $5 for $6 a month subscription, and you basically get access to thousands and thousands of comic book titles, more than you'd ever see in your life. Or stop by your local comic book shop. What's great about the old comic books, and if you know exactly what you want, you walk up to the guy and say, "Hey, I want Astonishing X-Men from 2008, the Joss Whedon run," and he'll give you like a trade paperback that costs about like, you know, under $20. That has the entire run, whatever issues it is, like 30 issues or some nonsense like that, and you just read that. That's what I like to read a comic book, and then if I really like it, I'll buy one of those and kind of like put it in my collection and lend it out to people who are like, hey, like I'm not into comics, like, and I'm like, oh, you have this personality, you'd like this. Boom, you hate the government. Here's V for Vendetta. You know, go enjoy.
V for Vendetta was a comic book first?
Yeah, definitely. It was a really cool comic book. It was a really British comic book, really old comic book. I think because like the line drawing is more reminiscent of kind of like what you would see in a comic book strip on like Sunday morning newspapers, rather than like, you know, Marvel, pow, big action. Like it's not that kind of well, there's awesome action scenes, especially for its time, and it's colored really weird. It's maybe for the people watching at home, I could even pull it and show it to you guys. Here, give me a second. It's just really interesting because, you know, it spawned that movie and it had this whole second life, but that movie really did justice by the comic book. It really was this like think piece about like a weird Orwellian future. That's a comic book to get if you want to like, you know, if you think comic books are just superheroes doing weird stuff in space and all this kind of fucking nonsense, go grab V for Vendetta. That's a goddamn trip.
Yeah, pull it up so we can see it.
Here, give me a second.
I'll spit some nonsense while he's out, or while you're doing that thing. V for Vendetta was a fantastic movie. I like strange movies that are kind of slow paced. I love movies like Into the Wild, Fight Club, all this weirdness. But V for Vendetta was fantastic. What do we got here?
Boom, V for Vendetta. Y'all getting that? I'll try not to block the light. Yeah, so that's issue 1. That's dope, right? You know, this is the whole thing collecting the paperback, right? Yeah, so it was multiple issues. It was a pretty popular book. Let's see how many years it took to fully publish. So this re-release that I have is from 1990, right?
For those listening to the audio, he just showed us the front of the book, and it's the guy's face, who you know from V for Vendetta. It's typical artwork of what you would think of what it looked like from if you've seen the movie.
So originally published 1989, 1990. Books 1 and 2 were published at Vertigo, and then it was the copyright for all of it was bought by DC Comics. It was 10 issues of a comic book, so it spread over 2 years. So it was a longer comic book, right? But like, look at how it's drawn, right? Very old school style. See the color? It's hard to tell the colors here. Like the colors aren't bright. It's not this like big splashy page. It's just
like a dark blue?
Tricolor. Yeah, blues and then like spots of red. Everything's colored in just one color. So like a person's face and their whole body is just like a yellow. Everything's in shadow. Everything's real dark. There's no real like color to the whole thing. It's kind of a throwback to you know, to an older era when comic books were just made because they were really cheap to print and they would only use like 3-color printing.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, I should check that out. But I'm probably honestly going to do it the illegal way.
Yeah, definitely do. I encourage that, man. Like, listen, the comic book culture that exists is a disposable culture by its very nature, right? It's what came out this month. You buy that issue and then you throw out the issue. That's what they invented comics for. All this old stuff that happened in the past. For me, I think that someone is enjoying it gives more joy to the artist, and it gives that spark that maybe you'll be into it a lot, and then you'll start buying the shit that actually comes out when it's new. Or maybe you'll go out to your local comic book store and buy a trade paperback because you're like, that was really dope on my computer screen, but like, it's the difference between looking at a dope painting on your computer screen and buying it on a print and putting it on your wall. Like, why wouldn't you buy that after seeing it and really enjoying it, reading it on your computer tab, you know?
Yeah, and on top of loving the story and actually liking to immerse yourself in that world, they probably make cool decorative pieces.
Yeah, and definitely you look like a boss when someone comes over and they're like, "Whoa, I didn't know V for Vendetta was a comic book," and then you tell that story I just told.
I had no idea, but I'm not a movie buff either. But yeah, I like that movie a lot.
No, yeah, I really liked comic books when I was a kid, and then kind of fell away from it. You know, in high school, you know, just chasing girls, and getting fucked up all the time. I did that through college, right? So like comic books kind of like lost in the wayside. But then I got older, and I don't get wrecked as much anymore. So like I had all this free time on my hands, and like I was like, yeah, comic books. So yeah, I used to love comic books. And when you've left something that you used to really love for like a whole decade, all this cool shit happened while you were gone, and you just get to kind of play in it, and it's kind of fucking awesome. Yeah, so I get to be 14 years old again.
That's pretty dope. It's not like sports where if you leave for 10 years, you don't get to really enjoy what had happened while you were gone, because if you didn't see it live, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, something's weird. Like even music, it's like that, because there seems to be like there's always a press forward in all of these things, but like that art kind of stands the test of time a little bit more.
Andrew, I'm going to move into my geeked out over the past week.
What are you geeking out about?
It's kind of similar. It has a very small tie-in to comic books in that this thing could make paper. I always talk about I love beer, and that's never going to change. I hope it never changes. I love beer. I love making beer. But bonsai trees. I've wanted a bonsai tree for a long time, but for some reason I never researched it. And I found out this last weekend that bonsai trees are actually just regular fucking trees that are dwarfed.
Boom. That's it. Wasn't that mind-blowing?
Yes. And I was like, dude, so I could grab a seedling in this pasture, turn that motherfucker into a bonsai tree. I don't have to pay $15 at the store for it.
Just don't give it so much goddamn soil, and it only makes a tiny version of itself.
You have to snip it and wire it so it goes goofy ways, and then
I'm not Mr. Miyagi over here. I don't know how to make fucking bonsai trees.
Yeah, so I've been geeking out on that. I've been listening to video. I do listen to videos because
you have to do both, or it doesn't work, man.
Right? Yeah, but I don't watch them most of the time. I'm listening because I'm doing other shit. So, but they're YouTube videos that I'm listening to, not watching. But yeah, so I've been trying to. I saw some pine tree seedlings outside of my apartment door by the air conditioner, and I fucking dug around them, pulled them up, cleaned the roots off, replanted them. I've been watering the shit out of them, and I put 3. I'm going to wire them together so they'll turn into one tree, so it'll be thicker than if it was just one tree. And I've been learning up on how to turn this fucker into a cool looking bonsai. I actually purchased the bonsai from Walmart, and I got it home like, man, this doesn't look like a bonsai like Mr. Miyagi had or anything. So that's why I Googled it, and I'm like, oh my God, any tree could be a bonsai.
Yeah, that you just have to become like a Mr. Miyagi master. Was the Karate Kid, or the Karate Kid Part 2? Was that what? I guess bonsai was in both of them. Is that your inspiration for this thing?
No, I've actually never seen those movies. So
are you kidding me? Wow! Oh, so you have like a genuine calling towards the bonsai tree then.
Well, it started because I have like severe anxiety, and I get anxiety attacks sometimes.
How does bonsai work with that?
They are supposed to be calming, and like if you look up, I don't know, a lot of yoga type of stuff, and you just find like bonsai trees are supposed to be calming things because supposedly, well, no, they really do purify the air. You know, they put off oxygen, but looking at a bonsai tree rather than looking at your phone and stuff rather than looking at that blue light, will calm you down and hopefully lessen anxiety attacks and shit.
I think that's dope. That makes sense to me. Also, you kind of have this little like symbiotic relationship with a living creature that grows at such a slow pace. Like we have a jasmine plant in our kitchen, and in Holly, my fiance, she started like putting posts on it, and like it started like playfully kind of like twirling up it. And then it also like grabbed the hanger, like not the hanger, the little cord that you use to like drop the blinds on your window, like that little. It grabbed it and then like moved it over, and then started wrapping it around this thing, and it's like. It's taking a long time, but like you could get I get the sense of by just like looking at what he does every day, or I know I just called him a he, but like as a plant, like it's a little kid that's like playing and goofing around and exploring its environment. So I'm kind of into the idea that plants are living things, and just like taking care of them is soothing, because you kind of end up having like this symbiotic relationship with another thing, even though you can't really talk to it.
Exactly, dude. I feel like it's kind of like having a dog, but wanted to live longer. It doesn't shit on the carpet. All it does is good things. You just got to take care of it. I mean, it's a living thing. Yeah, it is. I named my bonsai tree. I named him Woodrow, or Woody for short, because it's made of wood. I haven't named so I have one that's a Ufukian tea, and I have one that's the one that I made or that I planted is a pine. I haven't named it yet because I want to make sure that it's going to survive the repotting before I name it. You know, that would kind of suck. But,
yeah, don't name your trees unless they've rooted.
Right. So I want to name it something.
Just like pioneer people wouldn't name babies until they were like 6. days old because they're like, that kid might die.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of sad, but yeah.
Most likely a coyote's going to eat this kid. Let's be real.
But that's funny because the bonsai I bought from Walmart, bought it from fucking Walmart, it's like 4 to 5 years old, and it's, tiny. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I actually I knew that fact about bonsai trees because I'd gone to the botanical gardens up in the Bronx. They had a bonsai exhibit, and they said that. And they probably told me a bunch of other things about bonsai. But do you have to continually prevent it from growing?
Yeah. Yep.
So you're constantly fighting this thing's growth. That's a little mean.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, it's like you are caring for it, and normal trees are just outside by themselves all the time being pissed on by dogs. Like these, you're actually taken care of and grooming and
you're right.
Paying attention.
Do you have a plan of what you're going to do with your tree? Mr. Miyagi drew in his head what the bonsai was going to become and then pruned his way to that.
Yeah, I mean, you just look up other pine bonsai. So I have the one that I bought. I mean, it's kind of formed already. I want to perfect it or make it go certain ways, but they're harder to maneuver when they're older because they're fucking wood. It's not real pliable.
Yeah,
but, this pine tree is pliable. I could wire it to be different ways. And yeah, I've looked up a few pine trees, and I know what I kind of want to do with it. It would take a year before you could see the first thing happen. But yeah, man.
Yes. That's the patience level that you're dealing with when you're a bonsai tree creator. You're yeah, it's going to take a year until I get this first part done. But in 15 years, it's going to really be fleshed out.
Yeah, I was watching a video on a guy who was a bonsai master or whatever, and he had 10. One, none of them were the same kind of tree. He had them in a garage, and a goat got in there and ate all of them.
That's the craziest thing I've heard.
That would suck so much because these trees were probably each 5 years old at least.
Oh my God, that's just heartbreaking.
I bet it would be horrible.
And if you're a bonsai master, that's also kind of your livelihood, and a goat ate it.
I'm sure he had hundreds of others that he sells too, but yeah, these were his show horses, not his sell horses.
Damn.
But,
heartbreak.
Don't lock the door, man.
Although, honestly, in that story, I kind of admire the goat. Goat's just doing goat shit. Goat's just doing goat shit. You can't hate on the goat, man.
It's kind of like Tyler Durden, burn all your belongings.
Yeah, exactly. The goat was actually a manifestation of that bonsai master's mind.
Yeah, could be, man. But yeah, bonsais are super cool. Been nerding out on them. I'm probably going to go watch another video right now.
Dope.
Pretty fun. But one thing, I don't think you're allowed to feed them beer. So that's kind of...
I mean, it's like a puppy. You got to wait until it's a couple years old and then see, test out its mettle.
Yeah, then I can give it a beer and see if it gets a really weird, crook in its...
poop.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's so weird. That one branch is blue. It's a pine tree.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know if it's a pine tree or a spruce tree. Outside of our apartment, all we have is there's a bunch of crab trees. But clearly a pine tree was growing by the air conditioner.
Yeah, I couldn't identify seedlings or any of that kind of shit.
No.
Honestly, I probably can't identify common trees out in nature.
Dude, I tried. I went on a nature walk the other day. On Memorial Day, we walked out to this lake along a path. It was fun.
I'm joking.
And so I was trying to identify the trees on the path, and I pulled up Arbor Day organization and it's does it have this? Does it have this? And I click, and it says, it is this. I'm like, that fucking tree looks nothing like that one. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, that's hard. I don't know. Like, I'm always like, people point at shit, and I'm like, I don't know, it's a dogwood, dog.
It's a dog. Yeah, I mean, like, so pine tree is easy to call out.
I'll fuck that up too, maybe, because they all, you know, I'm like, yeah, you look piney, and then like, no, the pineys are the ones with this, with the stabby things, not the leaves, and I'm like, yeah, good point.
Right, but then a spruce has pines too.
It's all kinds of stabby looking coniferous ass trees, man. It's confusing.
Yeah, there's pine and spruce basically, but yeah, some spruce doesn't have pines. all pine has pine. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, there's like sub pines, and then people. That's when you're talking nonsense to me.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, anyway, that's what I've geeked out about over the last 7 days. I think that is it for the show. Do you want to tell the people where they can find you again?
Oh yeah, at middleeasy.com, you can find odd collections of writing and videotapes that I found on the internet and liked. You can find me on the Twitter machine at the Clown Kid. Occasionally, I do a podcast called Before the Baldman Speaks, but don't hold me to it. But find me on Twitter at the Clown Kid. I'll definitely interact with you.
Dude, a lot of times I click on Middle Easy articles, and I'm like, I hope Andrew did this one, and then it was Tommy. I'm like, God damn, I don't want to read it anymore.
Tommy's great. I love Tommy. Tommy actually is the master of finding articles that I wish I'd wrote about. Whenever there's a day that I'm covering MMA, nothing happens, and then like Tommy will be like, "Oh, I'll cover shit today," and like every funny thing that's ever happened in the sport happens that day.
Yeah, but Tommy's not my homie, so it's a little less exciting to watch to read.
Tommy's everyone's homie.
It's like if you had a little brother that was like decent at soccer. he's more exciting to watch play soccer than like the kid that's really good at soccer.
Yeah, you're like you equated really shitty middle school soccer play with my articles. Thanks, appreciate it.
Hey man,
love Brian. always good going on your cast, man.
Hey, how about I equate it to like Pee Wee softball, because my niece is actually really good.
Okay,
so could be high level.
I'd win the states of the Pee Wee softball of making weird MMA articles.
Yeah, I agree, man. All right, so listeners, viewers, you can follow me on Twitter at Flyin Brian J. Check out my work. Well, just follow me at Flyin Brian J on Twitter, and I'll tell you where to find it. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes. If you're there, give us a rating. No matter what podcast host you're at, just please give us a rating, 1 to 5. I don't care. Just do the damn thing. And we'll see you next Thursday, or at least I will. I'll try to talk Andrew into doing the thing again. Next Thursday for Fight Nerds. Namaste.